Recording in progress.
I'll call the Wednesday, June 21st, 2023 meeting of the Architecture Review Committee to order. And to start off with, I'd like to welcome our new committee member, Kimberly Turgeon. So very welcome. I'm very happy to have you here and participating in this. To start off with, could we do a roll call, please, Erica?
Sure. Chair Hunter,
Present.
Vice Chair Tregenza,
Here.
Committee Member Carter,
Here.
Committee Member Ostovar.
Here.
Committee Member Polly's let us know he will be absent. Committee Member Schmidt. Here. And Committee Member Turgeon. Here. I can go ahead and announce staff members present. We have Principal Planner Roveri, Senior Associate Planner Schmidt, Associate Planner Sabdo, Associate Planner Buggert, and myself, Recording Secretary Barrera.
Okay, thank you very much, Erica. To start off, I'll open the consent agenda and ask if there's any member of the public in the chamber that would like to comment on the any item on the consent agenda. And Erica, could you put out information on how, if anyone, the public wants to participate via Zoom, how they can do that and make any comment on the consent agenda?
Sure. Members of the public are encouraged to join our meetings via Zoom Gov, a secure service that connects you live with no lag time. This meeting is also streamed live on youtube.com/City of Monterey and Comcast Channel 25. If you would like to provide public comment, please join the meeting using Zoom or by telephone, making sure to join in time to accommodate delays. To join the Zoom meeting from a computer or phone, use the link or phone numbers on the agenda posted at isearchmonterey.org. To join by telephone, dial 833-568-8864, then enter the webinar ID. Today's webinar ID is 161-914-9563. To provide a public comment via Zoom, please use the raise your hand function at the bottom of your screen. To provide comments by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand, then *6 to unmute when called upon. Public commenters will be announced using their last 3 phone number digits or the name typed into Zoom. Public commenters will be muted until it's their turn to speak. Please turn off TV or computer speakers or go to another room while connected, as background noise interferes with the broadcast. Public speakers will be called upon in order of hands raised. There is a 3-minute time limit for today's meeting. Please stay within that limit.
All right, thank you, Erica. Any members on the committee comments on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. All right, the motion has been made by committee member Carter and seconded by Vice Chair Tregenza to approve the consent agenda. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's carried unanimously. Next, I'll open up the meeting for any public comments for items that are not on today's public appearance agenda. Anyone online?
There are currently no attendees online.
Okay, very good. I'll close public comment on items not on the public appearance agenda and open the first item, which is to consider 5 Custom House Plaza sign permit application SI-23-0070 for 4 banner wall signs. So does staff have a presentation?
Yes, thank you, Chair. My name is Chris Schmidt. I'm a Senior Associate Planner for the city. I have been working with the applicant on this project. So yeah, we're looking at 4 wall banners, banner wall signs at the Stanton Center as part of the Stanton Center's new art exhibit at the location. So the staff recommendation is to adopt a resolution approving the sign permit. Staff also has a recommended condition of approval as part of the recommendation. So the site is located adjacent to the Custom House Plaza. It is surrounded by, of course, the plaza itself, the Portola Hotel, as well, and then the rec trail and parking lot, and then the wharf is to the north here. It is zoned PCD, which means the downtown specific plan is the land use document for the area, and then is also subject to the citywide sign guidelines. So here I just wanted to, this is a table from your staff report. There are 4 wall signs totaling 324.37 square feet. And going down the list, we have 96 square feet, 53.17 square feet, 108 square feet, and 67.2 square feet. Here are the locations of each sign. So signs A and B are located on the north facade, which is kind of closest to the wharf and custom house. Sign D faces directly towards the plaza. And then sign C is facing towards the rec trail and the parking lot. So here are signs A and B. As I mentioned before, 96 square feet. That's the one on the left. And 53.17 square feet. And so each of these items, as part of the Monterey History and Art Association's exhibit here, they've proposed signage that depict works by artist Joe Mora. So we have a number of different pieces here. Here's the sign C that faces the parking lot at 108 square feet. And sign D that faces the the plaza area at 67 square feet. All of these would be a banner material. They're like a PVC kind of flexible material that would be fastened to the building facade. So there are a couple of sign guideline inconsistencies. First is that the signs are inconsistent with the 50 square foot max guideline. And then the second is that there should be no more than 2 wall signs per storefront. And staff was supportive of this because it's a fairly large building and the building does have pedestrian walkways surrounding it. And so it didn't appear to be inconsistent. There's much less signage than the previous business that was there, which was the Dolly Museum. Looking at the downtown specific plan, guideline G 7.8 suggests to minimize signs. Staff found that the signs are generally larger than recommended by the guidelines, but there actually aren't that many on each facade. So staff is still supportive of the application in that regard. And then G 7.9, use historically appropriate materials, hand painted or hand carved signs are preferred. In this case, it was inconsistent with that guideline, although you might argue that it does depict kind of historic works that are important to the Monterey Bay area. And then in addition to the other land use documents, the recreation trail and policies and standards do apply to the site because it's adjacency to the rec trail. And just to kind of explain what a trail-oriented sign is, the first policy regarding signs states that trail-oriented signs are to be those signs that are mounted on the elevation of the building directly fronting the rec trail. So I think it was sign C was directly adjacent to the rec trail. And that policy, one of the policies requires that signs do not exceed the maximum of 3 square feet. So 3 square feet is the maximum. And as I mentioned, sign C is 108 square feet. So it's much, much larger than what's required. So I'm showing that location here. Staff's recommended condition to comply with that standard is move from the proposed orange location to the blue. There's kind of a separate non-rec trail walkway that's located adjacent to that facade, and I think the staff would be supportive in saying that that's not a directly fronting the rec trail facade there. So that's the recommendation at hand today. In order to approve the sign permit, the committee must make 3 findings. The first is that the proposal achieves the purposes and objectives of the sign ordinance. Staff was able to make this finding. These signs are an effective means of identification and communication of the use. They do show some equality. They provide equality and equity among sign owners. This is a relatively large building, as I mentioned, and so the larger building does warrant those increased sizes. And staff found that it is consistent with the guidelines, or better achieves the purposes and objectives of the sign ordinance. Similarly, staff felt that these signs were small in size relative to the building, and their location and orientation are appropriate for the site, and staff was able to make that finding. And then the last finding has to do with consistency with the general plan and specific plan. Staff made that finding. So with that, staff recommends the ARC approve the sign permit with the suggested condition available for questions, and then the applicant is here as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chris. Any members of the committee have questions for Chris?
Chris, I did have a question. Were there any other materials other than this banner PVC type? And what is the reasoning? It might be a question more better suited for the applicant, but I'm just wondering why they're choosing this PVC more temporary kind of signing as opposed to materials that are more consistent with our policies.
Yeah, I would direct the question to the applicant. I mean, I understand that PVC banner signs were used for the Dolly Museum in the past. And then I did speak with the applicant. I think, this fit within their budget in terms of the type of signs that they're willing to have.
Thank you.
Just a reminder to turn on your microphones when you speak. Thanks.
Follow up on that. What's the time frame they're expected to be up? Sort of, as was suggested, there's a sort of a look of being a temporary sign. Is there?
I don't know.
2-year unknown. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Question.
The only condition of approval was to move the sign back, the one sign back.
Yeah, aside from the city's standard conditions, which are like hours of construction and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Questions? Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite the applicant to come up if they want to make a statement and answer any questions the committee members may have. All right, you state your name, please.
My name is Gary Spradlin, and I am the president of the Monterey History and Art Association. And I'll take any questions you'd like to give to me.
Could you maybe answer the question I asked to staff about the choice of materials and possibly going on committee member Ostavar's question about, I mean, are these proposed to be a more permanent type of sign or is this temporary?
I think these will be up probably for 2 years. We actually hadn't talked on our board about how long they were going to be up. I would expect 2 years though as a minimum. The material was selected because that's what the previous signs were, and we went to the same vendor. So maybe it's ignorance on my part that I didn't even look beyond that. But that's why we have these signs.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
You did. Thank you.
Any
Okay.
other?
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Next, open up this agenda item for comments from the public that are in the chamber. None? Anyone online? Erica?
There are still no attendees online.
All right. If that's the case, I'll close public comment on this item and ask for any comments or discussion on it from the committee.
Can I, Chris, do you mind just flipping back to some of the images again of the signs?
Any sign in particular?
This is a good example, actually. So it is very common for especially art institutions to have temporary banners of their art, and it's very accepted. You see this in London, everywhere, right? At major art institutions. Typically, it's of the temporary aspect of that sign. The permanent pieces are usually more permanent sign, metal, wood, something like the recommendations are. So this example, the Monterey History and Art Center seems like that would be appropriate to be something more permanent, while the larger banners could be this temporary material would seem an appropriate path forward. Otherwise, completely agree with the general recommendations that it's a large building, that these large signs and things are very appropriate. Their art, their history of the local area, very much acceptable in that regard. But some differentiation between what's temporary and what's sort of permanent seems like it would be appropriate.
Any other questions, comments?
I guess that's a question then. Is it going to be the History and Art Association Stanton Center after 2 years, or is it going to go back to something like Dolly or?
I would ask the applicant if they intend to have a the Dolly Museum was a tenant of theirs. So
Yeah.
if they intend to have an exhibit in the future.
Dolly is gone essentially. We still have some Dolly art on in the museum on the walls. We own the building and have since 1992.
Awesome.
So we are going to display local and Monterey focused art and history objects in the museum. That's what we are transitioning to.
Great.
We have pretty much done the first floor, second floor. Second floor is done, first floor we're working on. So come by and take a look. Think you'll like it.
So it will be the Monterey History and Art at Stanton Center will be permanent.
That's what we're naming the museum. That's the rebranding of the museum building itself. We're still the Monterey History and Art Association.
Right.
It's still Stanton Center is the name of the building,
Uh-huh.
but we're rebranding the museum Monterey History and Art at Stanton Center.
So there's the intent then to have the identification of it as the building as a Monterey History and Art at Stanton Center, a permanent name for this then?
Yes,
Then would it be something that would be a consideration to make those signs identifying that permanent? And then the others, as committee member Ostavar mentioned, that specific to the exhibit more of the temporary nature that you've
I
had.
would like to do that. We have actually made these signs. In my ignorance, I didn't know I had to go through this process.
Oh,
I thought I was replacing signs. So these have been made and they've been rolled up at the vendors for some time. I will do that next time. In fact, we could look into a more permanent sign of that type. We would like that sign to be permanent. In fact, right there, instead of on a banner. But I can't do that right now.
Yeah, I would say for sure as a condition, we'd be fine with something going up with some intent, whatever, there's a time period of making that permanent, which is your desire, it sounds like anyway.
It
So
is.
I wouldn't have any problem with that at all.
So would it be appropriate for another condition to suggest, a similar, more permanent sign at this location and no larger would be allowed to be constructed in the future?
Encouraged.
But
maybe,
it's
yeah.
great. And then
Great.
I would also say that it's where it's identifying the building and the organization itself.
yeah.
Right. Those signs, I think, my opinion, should be ones identifying the current exhibit or like that. I think as committee member Osvar pointed out, I think that's completely appropriate.
There were once permanent signs on the building, but if you recall, back when it was built, it was the Maritime Museum.
right.
And those signs said Maritime Museum, but they were actually built into the wall.
Yeah.
So that's actually why we had placed one of the signs, the one you would like us to move. That's why that sign is in that location. Behind that banner are dozens of little holes for the previous sign that said Maritime Museum. Were actually mounted on the concrete. So
I have one question. I'm just curious. Whatever happened to the lighthouse lens? Do you guys still own that?
we never did own
Oh,
that,
okay.
actually. It's over on Garden Road.
Okay.
The state parks are storing it.
They're storing it, okay.
It's on its way down to Point Sur. and
Oh, cool.
It'll be placed down there on a permanent display, but they're not quite ready for it yet.
Great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anything else?
So the other two signs are just artwork, right? This is,
So they have our name and.
they have your name
logo as
too.
well.
We go back to those. Oh, there's that one. So,
That's the
yes.
sweetheart of the rodeo, by the way.
yeah. And then. Yeah, I would, I know the Monterey Museum of Art has banners for whatever the show is hung at the time. And then they have a beautiful permanent, carved wood sign. So I would love to see you guys do something a little more permanent for your signage and then have banners for, whatever show, if it's a 2-year, 3-year run, whatever. Would be great. But since you already had them made, I think we're okay with, well, we'll take a vote on that. But yeah, as far as, getting them up now so that people know that you're there, for sure.
It would honor the work you're doing as
Yeah,
well. So
absolutely.
by making it.
Thank you.
So,
And then I'm just wondering if we have any sort of time frame to revisit the more permanent signs. Is that 6 months? Is that a year?
Well, I'd like to leave these up for a couple of years. Um, we have to get grant money to make big changes like this. So that means writing a grant and getting it approved. So there's a fairly lengthy window to do all that sort of thing. And we just got these. So
You just mean the permanent ones though?
Yes.
And if we review that, or if we just give conditions that they are the same size.
Yeah, that's my
what you were
question is,
thinking
do you want the applicant to come back for a permanent sign? Or if it's no larger than these signs here, they just get staff okay? We can write the condition that way.
I think I'm okay with staff reviewing it if they're similar in appearance and size. And basically state the same thing. I have been to this museum. It is a wonderful thing to do on an afternoon. I've had friends from out of town who've told me they've gone. I think a more permanent sign would make it look more permanent as opposed to something that might be there and then the whole use is gone later on. And that could encourage people to come back to see future exhibits. But I just want to let you know that I really enjoy the museum.
And then I did hear comments about possibly another condition about allowing, maybe not obligating the applicant to rotate signs, but allowing them to do so. Do we want to add that as well? In terms of the art specific signs?
I think that I'd be fine with that.
I think if we do that where they are the same size and materials, then I think that would be fine.
I know that Mr. Spradlin, I think you had mentioned that you had not planned to, but I think it would be nice to leave the option open, and you know, in a few years down the line, you'd be able to do so. So we can do.
Yeah, like the Monterey Museum changes their banners every 6 months, and I've never seen them come to us asking for permission. So they must have something written into their sign clause.
It's a historically zoned property, so it's reviewed by the HPC, not the ARC.
Okay. I knew you'd have the answer to that.
Okay.
I think whatever we can do to make this easier on them would be, I don't think we need to review all the signs once they're permanent. We have an idea of what they're gonna look like. Staff does a good job of that. And if they have exhibits that are coming in and they want to put temporary signs up related to their exhibits that are coming in, that is totally what museums do. So.
If we look at this and we're looking at having the opportunity to have them, you know, at a time in the future to make these signs permanent that identify the Monterey History and Art Stanton Center permanent in the same size and general appearance, do we want to put a time limit as far as within a year, or within 2 years of this, that they do this, or is it as a condition of this, or how?
I mean, I think whenever they can get the grant money, honestly, it takes time, and us putting an arbitrary condition on it when it's mostly volunteers. Yeah.
all volunteers.
Yeah. I think we just need to be flexible with that.
It's you still need something, and a year to two, whatever. I mean, we pick 2 years. That's plenty. That should be plenty of time. It sounds like that was your desire to head in that direction anyway. But
Yeah, so I like what you're saying there. I would like to have permanent signage, so, and be able to change a smaller banner like the one there that shows the Sweetheart of the Rodeo, be able to change that part of the banner
Mhm.
and have a fixed part that is just the museum's name.
What
So-
timeline do you think would be fair for your group?
I would bet we could do that in 2 years.
2 years? Okay.
and would it help actually getting your fundraising to say we have this deadline coming up? We have
I don't know if it
One
would
year.
help, but it would motivate us.
it's usually how that works.
Thanks for what you're doing.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, since I had closed public comment on this before, I'll open it up again to make sure there's anyone that someone in the public in the chamber that wants to make additional comments on this project. Okay, I'll close the public comment section and call for a motion. Or anyone want to?
I'll move to approve 5 custom house sign permit application SI 23-0070 for 4 banner wall signs. That's, I think, all I gotta do, right?
Right,
Okay.
and with the
The
conditions. of-
condition of, that we're moving the one sign back. That was part of it, right,
Right,
Chris?
sign C.
And then that, I don't, yeah, you know, they can make some of them permanent if they want. They can change out some of the banners if they want. They have a lot of flexibility with that. Does that sound good enough for you guys?
A permanent sign within 2 years.
Permanent sign within 2 years, okay.
I second.
Okay,
Mhm.
our motion has been put forth by Vice Chair Tregenza to approve sign permit application SI 23 0070 for 4 banner wall signs, the Monterey History and Art Association, with the conditions that one sign to be in alignment with the staff report moved back to the other wall, and that permanent signs can be implemented, identifying the building and organization, and that to be done within 2 years. And that's seconded by committee member Schmidt. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Motion is carried unanimously. Thank you and congratulations on your permit. Also, this, I'd like to remind this decision can be reviewed by referred to the planning committee within 10 days. Okay, thank you. All right. Moving on, next we'll consider 2 Portola Plaza sign permit application SI 23 0082 for 1 projecting sign and 1 awning sign. So staff, have a report?
Yes. So I will note that the next 2 items are related, so it's a PowerPoint presentation that covers both items. Good afternoon. My name is Matthew Buggart. I'm an associate planner with the City of Monterey's Planning Division. And today we're here to talk about 2 Portola Plaza, a sign permit application and an architectural review application for projecting and awning signage. The recommendation by staff is that the ARC adopt the resolution to approve the sign permit application with standard conditions of approval, and also the architectural review application with its own standard conditions of approval. The site is the Portola Plaza Hotel. The general plan land use designation is commercial, and the zoning is Visitor Accommodation Facility, VAF. That is the primary reason that it's here before you today, as these signs aren't particularly abnormal. It's more that it will be new signage at an existing hotel place. The existing site is the former Pete's Coffee location. And some background on the site. It has its VAF zoning, and any signage or exterior aesthetic changes require ARC review. There's a master sign program that was adopted for the building in 2015. All the signage from all the different tenants was all included within there. Former uses of the site include both Pete's Coffee, which post shutting down became a vaccination and testing clinic during the pandemic, and is currently the Carmel Bakery at Portola Hotel. The proposal is for 2 signs, 1 projecting sign, a 3D pretzel with Carmel Bakery also in 3D across its face, and 1 awning sign, and it'll update from a black to orange awning. And on the site, you can see there are other awnings nearby, red, blue, and this one is proposed to be orange. Findings required for approval for the signage is that the proposal achieves the purposes and objectives of the sign ordinance. It does help to identify a business and was found to be consistent. The signage also needs to be consistent with the sign guidelines, or ARC determines the proposal better achieves the purpose and objectives. And the next slide, I'll briefly go over those.
Additionally, the proposal needs to be consistent with the general plan, of which there were no found inconsistencies. For the citywide sign guidelines, 1/2 square foot is allowed per foot of building frontage in the VAF zone. The sign program allows for additional signage on that building face. And specifically for this tenant, there's up to 32 square feet of signage allowed. Only 17.4 square feet is proposed. So it's well beneath that master sign program threshold for the tenant space. Additionally, projecting signs under the citywide sign guidelines are not supposed to exceed 6 square feet. The proposed sign would be 8.4 square feet, which does exceed that. However, the sign program allowed up to a 15 square foot projecting sign, which was much larger, and this falls within that master sign program allotment. For the architectural review portion, which is the color update of the awning from black to orange, findings include that the siding form, mass, and style are appropriate for the site. The awning color change will be similar to nearby awnings. It would not impair views, privacy, or environment. There'd be no expansion of the awning. The architectural update needs to be consistent with guiding documents such as the general plan, and no inconsistencies were found for that color update. And the finish, colors, and materials need to be appropriate for the site. Again, the awning is similar to nearby awnings with individual colors. There are no special proposed conditions proposed for the project. So it'd just be the standard conditions of approval with construction times. And so staff's recommendation is that ARC adopt resolutions to approve the sign permit application, and in the next item, the architectural review application. That concludes staff's
Right.
presentation.
Thank you, Matthew. Quick question, and maybe address this to you, Fernanda, please. Should we look at both item 4 and 5 together, or are we dealing with these separately?
They have to be separate because they're different
Okay,
item numbers.
all right.
You don't have to go through the presentation again for the next one. You
Okay.
can ask to skip it.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Matthew. Is the applicant in the chamber care to make a statement? And
quick
any
question,
questions?
Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry, questions.
Matthew, are these signs, is the sign already in place? Or is it?
Not last I saw.
Okay, because your rendering looked really realistic. I
Yeah.
was pretty impressed.
Thanks.
Okay, good.
Very good.
Lots of practice.
All right, please. Good afternoon, welcome. State your name, please.
Robert Wecker with the Wecker Group. I'm representing, is this on? Representing Pepe International, which owns the Carmel Bakery and the one in Carmel as well. Pepe's concern and mine, we did a 6 square foot sign, stuck it up there, and you couldn't even see it. It was this little tiny thing with all these 15 to 19 square foot signs that are allowed for the other businesses. So we made it to be 8.5 square feet roughly, which is still way smaller than everything else. I did these little diagrams here to show you guys what it looked like, if there is some consideration. We chose not to do a hanging sign because there's a roof line there. The only way to really do it is to use a projection sign and build it around a steel frame. It's 2-sided. It's similar to the one that's in Carmel, except it's got an additional at Portola Hotel and Spa, and we bake while you sleep up here. That's his tagline. So if you guys want to see these, I can pass them around.
Thank you.
We really wanted to make it 15 square feet, have this giant pretzel up there, but I don't think that would work. I think at the square footage it is now, it will be visible from the distances that we need it to be. It's kind of hidden in there between a couple of other businesses. So we need something that's going to catch the eye rather than make a square flat sign. We did this 3-dimensional one like the one we did in Carmel.
Do any committee members have questions for the applicant?
Maybe I missed it. Is it just gonna be the pretzel and not anything behind it? It'll just be the
It's
pretzel.
a
and the-
floating free-formed pretzel, with,
Okay.
you can see right through it, just like it shows.
Those just threw me off.
These are.
Pardon me?
Those just threw me off, those
alternate,
pictures.
Yeah. These are
They have
some of the
other
other
signs.
designs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the addition to at Portola Hotel and Spa, which he wanted to, Mr. Pepe wanted to designate it as not the one in Carmel.
Mm.
So people would know that this is the one that's at the Portola Hotel and Spa, but that added another square foot. A little over a square foot to the sign just to designate that it was there.
Mhm.
So we had to keep that in consideration. So those little elements, really, if you took them off, it would be a 6 square foot sign.
Just a reminder, the only reason it's in front of us is because it's slightly larger. Is that the only inconsistency?
One reason is because it's slightly larger, but mostly that it's within the VAF zoning. Any new signage and on hotels comes to you guys.
Okay, great. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much for your
Thank you.
time. Thank you. Next, I'll open up this item to any members of the public in the chamber wishing to comment on it. Do we have anyone online, Erica? Participating?
There are no attendees online.
Okay, all right. Thank you. If that's the case, I'll close the public comment portion on this agenda item and open for discussion for the committee.
I think it's a nice sign.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, a motion has been put forth by committee member Carter and seconded by committee member Sturgeon. For approval of architectural, or I'm sorry, sign permit application SI 23-0082 for one projecting sign and one awning sign. With that, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, the motion is passed unanimously. Congratulations on your project. And just a reminder, this can be referred to the planning committee for review within 10 days. Thank you. The next item is sign permit ARP dash ARP 23-0083 for preliminary final architectural review of an awning color change. And this is the presentation. Does the committee want to forego reviewing the presentation again?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. If that's the case, any other comments from staff on it? Yes.
It is exclusively for the color change for the awning
Okay.
The orange color.
from the black.
All right. Again, I'll offer opportunity for the applicant. Do you, any other comments?
One more comment that the awning is actually smaller than the current one, pushed back 6 inches, so it's flush with the wall at the time.
Thank you. All right. And also open this up for any comment for members of the public in the chamber. All right, I'll close that and discussion for the committee.
I'm good with it.
I'll make a motion to approve architecture review permit ARP 23-0083 for preliminary and final architecture review.
I second.
Okay, the motion has been put forward by committee member Carter and seconded by committee member Schmidt to approve architectural review permit ARP 23-0083 for preliminary and final architectural review of an awning color change. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried unanimously. And again, this can be referred to the planning commission within 10 days. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. And
We look
congratulations.
forward to pretzels.
Yep. All right. Next on the agenda is to consider 1200 Moonross Avenue architectural review permit ARP 22-0087 for preliminary and final architectural review of a non-structural exterior alterations to the Monterey Surf Inn, including fencing, landscaping, and lighting. Staff have a presentation?
Yes. Hi, Christy Sabdo with the City of Monterey Planning Division. Let me pull up my presentation here. Yeah, I just hit that. Thank you. Okay. So the project is 1200 Moonrus. They are proposing non-structural exterior alterations. Staff's recommendation will be to adopt a resolution to approve the architectural review permit for preliminary and final architectural review of the non-structural alterations at Monterey Surf Inn. The property's general plan designation is commercial. The zoning is VAF. You'll see it located here along Moonrus Avenue across from the Del Monte Center. A little background here, on May 17th, 2022, the applicant applied for an architectural review permit for exterior alterations to the property. Staff did a number of site visits, planning and building, together visited the site, June of 2022, January of 2023, and March 2023. Planning and building staff determined that the site construction had taken place on site without permits. A stop work order was issued. Some additional work was done. We were working with the applicants to stop work. Eventually, the applicant expedited their resubmittals to achieve completeness of their architectural review permit so they can get this to the architectural review committee. This property is zoned VAF. Architectural review is required by the ARC for ordinary non-structural repairs, alterations, exterior remodeling, and changes in landscaping or planting areas. And this is a retroactive architectural review permit as some of the exterior alterations have taken place. So here's the site prior to any of the exterior alterations taking place. You'll notice the paint color and the pool, like the pool fencing, no real landscaping here. There's some on the other side. They have the pool tile. And then there was some work done without permits in May of 2023. Staff went out and I took these pictures. We made sure that there was fencing around the pool site where the work was being done. There's fencing by the trash enclosure. The fence had been removed and new posts were being put in. And then the site also was painted, so a gray color with some black accents. And here are some more recent photos of what the paint looks like. And some of the, you'll see on the left elevation here, they put in this new stonework under the porte cochere. And you'll see on this side too, notice the black chimney and just the new paint on the exterior, some stone that kind of lays down at the bottom of that elevation on the left. And then the fence around the trash enclosure was removed. So the applicant is proposing non-structural alterations, including new paint for the building, a dove gray, change of the wood post to stucco painted gray, door paint and a black satin paint, paint the natural, the chimney was natural and they have painted it a black color. And then there's the new stone veneer that you saw at the entrance of the inn that was like a gray color. Trek on the walkway ceiling. So as you walk by each of the rooms, you look up and you see this wooden trek. It's like
Stop it kind of thing.
yeah, you look up and you see like these wood planks, which has this name here, Trex Transient 12-inch tiki torch. And then
Trex. I know what those are.
okay.
Yeah.
And then black aluminum gutters. And then the existing wood fence around the pool was removed. The tile around the pool was also removed. And they want to add new concrete block wall with stone veneer and wood plastic composite. And I have the elevations to show you later in this presentation. They would like to add new tile for the pool deck, replace wood. So they want to replace the fencing around the trash enclosure on that corner piece, the rear entrance. And that fencing would be a plastic wood composite in gray. They would like to, let's see, and they're also proposing new lighting and landscaping. So here's the proposed site plan. The corner of the site at the rear here, that's where the existing trash enclosure is. And they want to replace the fencing in this location. Also put new fencing around the pool, new tile. And then there's a landscape plan I'll show you later in the presentation. Here's some of the proposed exterior materials. The accents in the black color, overall gray color for the building. And then this is the Trex for the walkway ceiling. The proposed fence would be this stone veneer, and in between that would be a wood plastic composite. The wood plastic composite is in a gray shown here. And then on the very right here, that's the pool decking material. That's the color. Here's the proposed landscape plan. And it is shown here around the pool and in the front as well. It's, they're proposing English lavender and ornamental strawberry. So this is the location of the proposed fence at the back entrance. It would be a wood plastic composite. So in the architectural review findings for this, I'll go through each one of them here. That the siding form massing of the building itself is not changing. The proposed improvements would enhance the property overall, and the architectural style is appropriate for the site. However, the proposed finishes to the chimney, black paint over natural brick appears to be harsh. A harsh color for the frontage along Moonris, and staff is recommending that that be repainted a color that matches the gray stone veneer adjacent to the chimney. And with these changes, staff recommends that the proposed architectural style would be appropriate for the site. We've added that as a condition of approval. The proposed project will not unreasonably impair views, privacy, or living environment currently enjoyed by other properties in the vicinity. Because this was a non-structural proposal, story poles and orange netting are not required. And the proposed pool fencing will be 5 feet high as required by the California Building Code. That's not going to impact views in this area. And also the replacement corner fence at the north end of the property. Just essentially, there will be no views impacted with the new fencing. So the proposed project is consistent with the Monterey General Plan and that the property has a commercial land use designation, and the proposed alterations are commercial in nature. There are no applicable adopted area or neighborhood plans for Monterey Vista, and no design guidelines apply. There is a general plan urban design policy that states discourage high levels of ambient light and maintain night skies where stars can be seen. So there is proposed wall lighting, and that's shown in your packet. According to the manufacturer's specifications for the light, they are not dark sky compliant. However, the lights do project downward, not outward. And therefore, staff concludes that the light meets the intent of the general plan policy. The proposed finish, color, materials, landscaping, lighting and fencing, they're all appropriate for the site with a few exceptions. In that we're recommending that the chimney be painted again, a gray color instead of black, as it's too harsh of a color along the Moonrush Avenue frontage. And then also they're proposing landscaping to enhance the aesthetics of the property, but this is a really prominent property entrance to the city of Monterey, and staff is recommending an addition to the landscaping. And I will show that here. This is actually on the left-hand side. It was a postcard of what the property looked like a long time ago. And you'll see that they had landscaping to soften the pool area, and staff is recommending that additional landscaping in front of the fencing and at the corner, it's shown in green here, be added to the proposed landscaping, and staff has added a condition of approval. With those changes, staff recommends that the ARC adopt a resolution approving architectural review permit for preliminary and final architectural review of the non-structural exterior alterations at Monterey Surf Inn at 1200 Moonrush. Staff is available for questions, and the applicant is here in the audience.
Okay, great. Thank you, Christy. Any questions for Christy from the committee? Nope. Okay. In that case, I'll invite the applicant if they make a comment or make themselves available for a question from the committee. Please come up and give your name, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vidant, and I'm the project manager. My father's behind me. He's the applicant, and I'm overseeing all the designs and everything that's happening at the property.
Are you working with the architect or designer, or are you doing this yourself?
I'm doing it myself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Actually, sorry, one
Yeah.
just came to mind. The lighting, it said it's not dark sky compliant, but are all of those under cover? Or you said they're projecting down, but I was just trying to look and find an image of them, but
What lights are these?
I can look for, sorry, I didn't have my staff report up, but I can look for that. It's in your packet, I think. You see it in your packet. If not, I can pull it up.
couldn't remember seeing that, but
I can look for that.
and so are they under cover?
So there's lights, there's down lights coming, like just ceiling lights coming down from the Trex. So for a walkway. And then there's also, I got these really cool lights they're imported from London, actually. They have the room numbers on the sign with a light along with it. I have a picture on my phone if that helps.
But it's
They
under
just
the-
add
it's under
additional
the
light.
roof over-
They're not like roof. They stick out like
No, I
only an
mean,
inch.
But the room number on the door is under a roof overhang.
Correct.
Okay. So,
Correct.
yeah.
And for some reason, they're not dark skies compliant, but they point down, I guess is just trying to understand that a little better. Usually that would mean they're compliant, but
If it's okay, I'd like to give a quick background as well for the property. It's been under my father for a long time. I'm younger. I have a new thought about the property. We have a lot of incoming flow of Silicon Valley workers, people trying to do getaways to our beautiful town for 2 days. I'm actually trying to take it to a different level, upgrade to like a boutique style hotel. In the future, I hope to come back. I'm assuming I would need another review for bike rentals, a little small slot where they can grab the bikes off the property, go head down, add EV chargers, hopefully, stuff like that. And then the whole property aesthetic is more to create a mellow tone. It's honestly just a getaway. We're going to be offering stuff that's a lot different than the properties along the street. So yeah.
So I found the lighting and I can share my screen.
Origin 21. There it is. Yeah.
Oh, this is the middle one. It's okay.
So this was what was forwarded to staff. So
yeah.
But Christy, I'm also looking at, let's see. Exhibit A, because it appears that there's also lighting surrounding the parking lot. Not just on the wall of the building. Yeah, it's packet page 69, I believe. Yes, that one.
This one here.
So there, it says new 4-inch LED downlight suitable for wet, damp locations on photocell and timer. Yeah.
I misunderstood that. I mean, I thought that these locations shown were right in front of each of the door entrances. Can you explain that? These locations here?
So, yeah, no, those are just the lights that are by the doors. I'm confused as well, sorry. We just have sets of lights there,
Yeah.
like there's one in the picture and then
Yeah. That's how
there's
it,
down lights, they go up and down both ways.
So there is a light that shines straight up too?
Yeah,
Okay.
oh, sorry, yeah.
just in front of each entrance.
Cool.
So.
And it has like a very thin ring around it. It does not flash outward though.
Yeah.
So what were you?
It does go straight up though.
So, yeah.
But it goes up into the soffit, into the ceiling?
It's not, it's like, no, it's far away from it. It like shines a little light up top, shines a little light on the bottom.
Okay.
It's like the little scone ones, the wall scones with up and down lighting.
Let's just say you were in an airplane over your property. Could you see that?
Oh,
up
no, no,
light?
no.
It's
They're
covered-
under the whole roof.
There's, okay,
They're
they're
like
covered
that.
by the roof.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
It's
it.
like this awning right here and they were like on the wall and then
Got
there's
it.
a light going down.
How far does the roof project? Just what's the?
Like the height of the roof?
No, the projection.
Over.
Out?
About 5 feet?
Okay.
5 feet, yeah.
And they're on the wall. Okay.
I do see an architect stamp, so I'm just,
Yeah, an architect
wondering-
prepared the drawings,
oh, okay.
but you're gonna do the improvements yourself, is what you're saying,
Improvements meaning,
to the property.
correct. And then another thing, the chimney was, I don't know if it helps, it wasn't natural stone, it was already painted like a dark maroon previously, so we just wanted to paint a different color. All my accents are black to match that aesthetic, so I went with black on the chimney as well. If we went with a gray, the chimney would also not stick out according to me, so I just went with something that's dark. I could go 2 tones down, whatever is recommended by.
Yeah, I'd like the ARC to weigh in on the color as well, and then that's what, staff.
At
is
first, I was
recommending.
kind of okay with the black because it's kind of a modern, approach, but it is a big black
Definitely.
hole. Can we go back to that drawings,
Sure.
Christy? Sorry, there's
No,
that one.
fine.
There's a shot of the two of them side by side.
Christy, for clarification, is staff proposing the same color as the exterior wall? That
As
same
the
gray?
tile.
Okay,
tile. Mhm.
It's a facade tile on
Okay.
the front,
Right.
and it looked like that was a multi-shade. of
Right.
gray.
Mhm.
You could probably go with one of the darker shades from that to go with, would be my. inclination, but let's take a look at it.
Or are you wanting to see a picture of the existing?
There was one that showed the two chimneys side by before and after.
Yes, this
Mm,
one here. Let me,
not- yeah, almost there. No,
is it this one?
no,
well, that's,
There was one more.
There's another slide.
it shows the old color.
Maybe it's,
That was it. That was it.
right there.
Yeah, so that's natural on the left, I believe, before it was painted maroon, and then it's on the right, so. Yeah, maybe just like a medium to medium dark gray would,
Gold gray, like a space gray, like your laptop is cool.
yeah.
Either that or where you have the facade at the bottom underneath the windows there, that looks like it's a multi-shade of
Yeah, just
gray.
asking, because the facade is slightly more expensive. If we were to
I'm just
re-facade
saying
the whole
it's-
thing.
Well, no, I'm not saying put the
Oh.
facade up there. Take one of the
That color.
darker color gray,
Cool.
darker
Perfect,
shades of
yeah.
gray from there and do that.
Do the whole thing in that, yeah,
Yeah, then it'll blend a little more.
I would
Yeah.
like that if it were
yeah.
not black, but a contrasting.
That yellow box at the end is also gonna be painted as
Okay.
well. So would you want it to be the same color?
Sure.
Yeah.
The thing on the left, is that
Yeah.
a fence or a?
It's just a little shed, I guess.
Okay.
Word.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah. And now is that on the right, are the walls already painted the dove gray?
Correct.
Okay,
And then there's LED lighting on there too.
okay. Yeah, I think gray would be, it looks like a monolith from outer space kind of now, right now.
Any other questions or comments for you?
I like the old slide on the pool.
Yeah. Did you guys keep that?
Just to make sure I'm reading, sorry, just to make sure I'm reading the,
Okay.
just make sure I'm reading the plan properly there, the recommended landscaping. I don't know if that's, I just wasn't sure. It looked like a tiny strip, but looked like the fence was back quite a bit farther. Is that?
So go for it.
So staff is recommending landscaping in front of the fence. I mean, right now they've removed the fencing, so there's opportunity to put landscaping in front of the fence just to soften the look of the fence,
On the
new
street side?
fencing.
Street
The,
side?
of the moonrust,
Okay,
yes. And then the corner there,
Is it easy enough to? pull
as
that
I had
plan?
highlighted.
Just, I want to make sure I'm reading it.
Yeah. Mhm.
correctly.
If I may, the only reason we didn't want the landscaping again is because I wanted to do like these really cool, they'd be pretty big. I don't know if I can only think of one spot. If you guys have been to Valley Fair in San Jose, they have these huge planters that almost like from this width to this width. And I want to put like 3, put them towards that corner that's gonna create the new L, I guess, of the fence, and then have planters in there, have succulents. The whole theme of the property is succulents, and then doing less water taking plants. We don't want to do floral. We're doing more like colorful cactuses, agave, stuff like that. And we're still gonna add more in the front too, in front of the chimney as well. So we're hoping if that could work.
Chris,
There's-
would something like that satisfy planning's request for landscaping to have planters with succulents and cactus and
We do have this really large palm tree that we're using again that from the corner. to
Yeah,
put back.
I think it, you know, how is the front gonna look though along Moonrest with that, the strip? Is there's gonna be like a lot of different pots? Is that gonna look cluttered? So I guess if you change the condition, just consider how it might look all together and how many pots are gonna be out there.
to the applicant, were you proposing to do just on that pie shape is where you wanted to put the big planters? Is that
Well,
what I
I'd
understood?
spread them out. They wouldn't look clustered. I have a pretty modern aspect. I've done this before at other properties.
So you would want it along the
So
strip
there'd be
along
like a
Munro?
cluster of like odd numbers will always look best in modern. So I'd put a cluster of 3 in that corner where I guess there would be that curve. Put some on the other end and then like and then there'd be planters between the day beds and stuff like that.
Can I pull up the landscape plan really
Yeah.
quick? Do you mind?
sure.
And how big are these planters? Are we talking 6 feet tall,
They're
3
pretty
feet
big,
in
they're pretty tall.
diameter?
Even
or-
before the planter that existed was not, you couldn't really see much inside. You'd have to still peek over and then you could see like the roses and stuff.
So the landscape plan is currently showing English lavender and ornamental strawberry plants. Is that not what you're proposing anymore? And also the Peter Pan.
Agapanthus.
Yeah. The one with the slide is like before my dad even acquired the property.
But this is the proposed landscape plan that was submitted to the city as to what you're proposing.
So yeah,
So if it's not what you're proposing, I think now's the time to ask the commission for something different.
yeah, we would propose succulents and stuff like that. I can give proper species names. I don't know. No, that's what the proposal is.
I guess that's just where maybe now we're a little confused.
Yeah, no,
because
whatever works,
obviously
definitely.
What was submitted should be what we're reviewing.
Definitely, yeah.
And so I think it just gives us a little pause as
course,
to
yeah.
what are we reviewing then? If there's a bunch of pots or other plants, then what we reviewed isn't actually what's
Okay.
going to be built. So that's it is essentially a legal, like you come before the panel.
Okay, I'm
with
sorry.
something.
Sorry. Okay.
Well, so I mean, I'm not trying to make a big deal of it, but it's just it makes us wonder what we're reviewing.
Okay,
And if we can trust that review.
Got it.
So could we have a condition that they come back with a landscape plan that's current?
Yes, you can do that.
Either that or
Hello, I'm sorry. My name is Nigan Patel. I'm the owner of the property. And, before you take the decision that we need to go for another review or anything, I'm waiting for this one from the last like 3 months. And I have a really huge green fence around it. I'm losing the business, lot business. Even I'm sorry, but both as a city of Monterey, they're losing money. I'm losing money. I really need a request from you guys that I need as a pro to start the work, at least start the fencing, and we can, while doing it, I don't mind to put any proposal, so at least we can start the work, because only for a landscape, I don't want to be like a drag another month or two, something like that. And when you come at the property, when you're making a reservation, they're turning around. We literally, last 3 months, because of my architect fault, we missed one of the deadline. And then another last 2 weeks, I think something comes up and we cancel the meeting. So another 2 weeks was extended. So if you tell me that I need to do this, I can do that, but I need some approval to go forward, rather than just not sitting right there. I don't.
Yeah, just to clarify, that's always our approach, is to find a way to move forward with, even if there's a part of it that would come.
No, I really.
I think that's generally going to be what we're trying to discuss, how to do that and move forward.
So.
Do you have any questions, comments for you?
No.
All right, thank you.
Thank
you. And next up, any other member of the public in the chamber want to make comments? Erica, anyone online?
There are no attendees online.
All right, any discussion, comments from the committee before?
So I think they're moving in the right direction, and they have a good plan and a good eye for design. But technically, we would need to see your ideas of these planters and these succulents. We just need to see something like a drawing that you could do yourself, or you can have an architect do. Not right now, but we can probably move forward and vote on this, but have a condition that we want to see these landscape plans for. Yeah, you're not going to put in agapanthus. You're going to do something different. We just need to know what that is. Okay.
Can staff ask for clarification if we're not going to have a landscape plan prepared by in accordance to our architectural review permit checklist? I'd like clarification on that, just because staff has been trying to have the plans meet the architectural review checklist. Right. So if there's a kind of a waiver from that for this situation, I would ask that you clarify.
I would just, in this case, it is still being required. They're coming back with a landscape plan at a future date.
And we'll put a deadline on that too. Yeah.
We'll put a deadline on it, and we're approving the other aspects so those can move forward.
I guess it was the comment where the applicant can draw the plans themselves and.
Oh, well, I mean, that's always a possibility, right?
In this case, there's no grading being done, et cetera, but the planters, as I think you hesitated hearing about that, those are very architectural and rather permanent if they're large ones, so it would affect. And so that's why we need to see them. But I think otherwise, we can assist them to move forward with the general approval with your conditions, similar to the conditions. With the condition that they come back, we select a time at the next meeting, whatever it is, with updated landscape plans. Meanwhile, they could move forward with the rest of their work, I think is what we're saying.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can, I mean, I see a few options. You can place a condition that the landscaping be worked out with staff or that it come back to the committee. Or you can separate the approvals. You can approve the exterior alterations except for the landscaping. And then place the condition that they come back for the landscaping in front of you to present the landscaping plan for your approval.
I would be okay with having staff okay it personally, but that's me.
I think it's fine if staff approves it.
Yeah, unless staff sees something that's a difficult choice for them, if their planters are, who knows, right? It's really garish or stand out or don't fit with the style or something like that, then by all means, bring it in front of us again. But I think we're trying to find a way forward, but still enforce some of those requirements that are necessary.
Sure. I was trying to find photos of the planters at Valley Fair and I couldn't find any, so.
I'll entertain a motion.
So what's the motion?
I'll take a stab at it. I move to approve ARP 22. Am I on the right one? Yes, dash 0087 for preliminary and final architectural review of non-structural exterior alterations to the Monterey Surf Inn, including fencing and lighting, with the condition of approval being added that any landscape plan for the previously identified areas to be landscaped be reviewed and approved by staff prior to installation, with it coming back to ARC only if staff needs further input or feedback.
Can I ask for one clarification? The additional areas that staff was recommending be landscaped, are those areas included in the area they need to landscape?
Yes.
Yes, but they're coming back with plans with your approval.
Okay.
And so that those can be, there's many ways to do that.
Okay.
I suppose at this point.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, motion has been put forward to approve architectural review permit application ARP -22-0087 for preliminary final architectural review of non-structural exterior alterations Monterey Surf Inn, including fencing and lighting, and a condition that landscaping plan for the areas outlined be submitted to staff for review and necessary for further review by the ARC. And that has been seconded by Vice Chair Braganza. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion is carried unanimously. And this can be appealed to the planning commission within 10 days. All right, thank you. Next, we'll move on to consider 1300 Moonrise Avenue architectural review permit ARP -22.
Thank you.
22-0245 for preliminary and final architect review of a chain link fence installation at that location. Staff, do you have a presentation?
So the applicant has told us that they're out of the country and they've requested that this item be continued to the July 19th ARC meeting, because that's when they'll be back. So can you vote on that? If that's okay with you?
Okay, so the question before us is that this could be, applicant is out of the area and requested move to the July 19th architecture review committee meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
We didn't make a motion.
Sorry, can you make the motion?
Or is this the question before?
It requires a
Oh.
motion, sorry.
So, I'll have to read up my Robert's rules.
I can do it. I move to, move item number 7 to the July 19th, 2023 meeting.
Second.
All right, the motion has been made by Vice Chair Tregenza to move agenda item number 7 for ARP 22-0245 to the July 19th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Okay. Look at that. There we go. The other thing again, Kimberly, welcome. Very glad to have another member to the committee.
She stayed awake.
Okay,
That was a long one.
all right. Any other comments or information? Updates from staff?
Nothing other than what's included in your packet. I just included some summary items from the June 6th city council meeting. And we do rotate, so every July, we rotate ARC chair and vice chair. So if we do end up having a July 5th ARC meeting, that's when we would rotate your positions. So committee member Tregenza would have the opportunity to be chair.
I think I'm gonna be here. But let me just double check.
We haven't confirmed that we are having a meeting yet.
Okay.
but-
Well, I'm gonna be in town and I should be in town for the 19th as well.
Okay,
So however it works.
Yeah, I will be around for the 5th, but I will not be here for the 19th.
okay, thank you.
He's gonna be like hiking somewhere foreign and
Yep,
cool.
just do the coup when I'm out of the country. That's okay.
Just, you know, that hike he's been training for 8 months.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. All right, anything else? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
At 5:18 PM, adjourn the meeting of the ARC.